world often works in mysterious ways that can be quite eerie, and this applies to sports as well. Whether you believe it's just a coincidence or that fate played a role, there's no denying how bizarre or spooky some occurrences can be when comparing moments or contextualizing quotes with future events. Here are the strangest NBA coincidences. Pete Maravich predicted the future. One of the greatest college basketball players of all time, Pete Maravich, also known as Pistol Pete, predicted his own death. During a 1974 interview, Maravich said, "I don't want to play 10 years in the NBA and die of a heart attack at age 40. Pistol Pete had only been in the league for 4 years when he gave that quote, and it was his way of saying he didn't need the game of basketball and could do something else once his career was over. Well, he wound up playing in the NBA for exactly 10 years before dying of a heart attack at the age of 40. In a tragically ironic way, Maravich actually died on the basketball court while playing a pickup game. Events surrounding Kobe Bryant's death. Not only did the news of Kobe's death bring the sports world to its knees, but the events surrounding it will also give you chills. The following day, Tracy McGrady revealed that as a young guy in the league, Bryant would often say that he wanted to die young. According to T-Mac, he used to say, "I want to die young. I want to be immortalized. I want to have my career be better than Michael Jordan, and I want to die young." While Kobe's stance most definitely changed as he got older and started a family, he did become immortalized as one of the most iconic players in the history of the game. Just adding another layer of spookiness to the situation, the night before his death, LeBron passed Kobe for third on the NBA's all-time scoring list. It's even crazier when you consider that it happened in Bryant's hometown of Philadelphia. The coincidences don't stop there, though. One of Kobe's former teammates, Ryan Kelly, played a game in Japan just hours before his death. Kelly scored 24 points in 24 minutes and 24 seconds of action that game. And you can't say this was a tribute to Bryant, because Kelly couldn't have possibly known what was about to happen. The next part will give you goosebumps. In Kobe's final NBA game, Kelly was the last person to sub in for him before Bryant checked out to a standing ovation. The two even hugged before Kobe exited the floor. It's the type of stuff you can't make up. Just like what happened involving Trae Young and Devin Booker in their first games after Kobe's passing. Both players idolized Bryant, and together, their performances somehow paid tribute to him in unbelievable ways. Young and Booker combined for 24 made shots. Both had 24 shot attempts and combined for 81 points. The icing on top of the coincidence is that when you combine their jersey numbers worn for their games, it makes 81. Booker wore his traditional number 1, while Young wore number 8 in honor of Kobe instead of his usual 11. A legend gone way too soon. Nobody will ever forget the impact Kobe had on the game of basketball. Shaq's teammates always make the finals. Suiting up for 6 different teams over his 19-year NBA career, Shaquille O'Neal has been teammates with his fair share of players. In every single NBA Finals since 1984, there has been at least one player participating who was at some point teammates with Shaq. It's a fact that will make you do a double take and even double check to make sure it's legit. As unbelievable as it may seem, there have indeed been 37 straight finals that check off this box. The streak even dates back to when Shaq was just a kid, as it began 8 years before O'Neal joined the league. The streak was most recently extended as 3 of Shaq's former teammates were members of the Lakers squad that won it all in 2020. LeBron, Rajon Rondo, and Jared Dudley. 3 guys who were teammates with a Big Diesel on 3 different teams. So if you're looking to place a futures bet on a team to make the finals, you should probably look to see if one of the players on the roster was once teammates with Shaq. Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter didn't know they were related. A coincidence that stretches far beyond the realm of sports and has impacted countless lives of everyday people involves individuals unexpectedly being related to each other. This coincidence becomes that much more strange when it happens to 2 NBA superstars. While it is now widely known that T-Mac and Vinsanity are related, that was not always the case, seeing as though the dynamic duo wasn't even aware of this fact until the summer before Carter's junior year of college. Without having any idea that they were related, Tracy and Vince would work out together at UNC, while Carter was on the team there. In the summer of '97, McGrady went to a family reunion in Atlanta, where an older lady approached him, and the two had a conversation that ended up talking about basketball. Well, that lady was Carter's grandmother, as she revealed Vince and Tracy were actually distant cousins. Fate wasn't done there, though, as they both wound up getting drafted in the first round in back-to-back years by the Toronto Raptors. This only brought the pair closer together. As a teammate once said, they say they're cousins, but Siamese twins is more like it. two guys becoming the faces of an expansion team after only recently finding out they were related sounds like a movie script straight out of Hollywood. Kawhi Leonard and Vince Carter took the same shot. With McGrady having left the Raptors, it was Vinsanity carrying the hopes of a city in 2001. Carter got Toronto to the Eastern Conference semifinals that year. He and his Raptors then had a tall task of taking on the 76ers, led by league MVP that season, Allen Iverson. The series was like a heavyweight boxing title fight, with both sides going back and forth. It went to a decisive Game 7, where it all came down to the final possession. With 2 seconds on the clock, and the Raptors down by 1 with the ball, everybody knew who was taking the final shot. With a chance to send Toronto to their first conference finals in franchise history, Carter caught the inbound pass on the wing as he was closely guarded. He launched a 3 in front of his bench. The shot was no good, as the Raptors were dealt a knockout punch. Toronto didn't make the Eastern Conference Finals for another 15 years, and it wasn't until the 2019 Eastern Conference Semis where the Raptors would finally have a chance to get revenge on the city of brotherly love. In another epic 7-game series between the 76ers and Raptors in the Eastern Conference Semis, it again came down to the final possession. In a tie game with 4 seconds left, Kawhi caught the inbound pass and made his way to the corner of the court in front of the Raptors bench. There, he fired up a contested shot with his foot on the three-point line. In the same round against the same opponent in Game 7, it all came down to a contested shot in front of the Toronto bench. Like Carter's shot in 2001, Kawhi's hit the rim. Except, it went in this time. After bouncing on the rim multiple times, it somehow fell in as the Raptors won the series and went on to win their first ever title that season. Although they spent significantly different amounts of time playing for the team, both Leonard and Carter will forever be a part of Toronto basketball lore, as will these two shots. LeBron and Steph were born in the same hospital. Every basketball fan knows LeBron was born in Akron, Ohio. He was the chosen one, destined to save Cleveland from a long history of sports torture, and he did so in 2016. However, he's not the only NBA superstar to be born in that city. While he grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, Steph Curry was actually born in Akron, as his dad Dell was playing for the Cavs at the time. Not only were the two both born in Akron, but they were born in the same hospital, Akron General Medical Center. The odds of two NBA legends being born in the same hospital in a city not known for producing professional athletes has to be astronomical. It becomes even crazier when you consider how their NBA careers became so tied up with one another after facing off in 4 consecutive finals. If there was a 2-on-2 tournament where teams consisted of people born in the same hospital, it's safe to say Akron General Medical Center has taken the crown, just like Steph and LeBron's teams have done in 5 of the last 6 seasons. Michael Jordan had identical Game 6s. When discussing MJ's legacy, everybody always brings up his 6-0 finals record. 2 of those rings came from defeating the Utah Jazz. In the 1997 finals, the Jazz took the Bulls to 6 games before falling to Jordan and his squad. In that series-clinching Game 6, Michael played 44 minutes and was 15 of 35 from the field. Fast forward a year, and Utah and Chicago faced off for another finals. And again, the series sat at 3-2 in favor of the Bulls. Thanks to the year prior, MJ knew exactly what it took to close out the Jazz. 44 minutes of play and making 15 out of 35 shots. As if he had the secret formula for victory in hand, Jordan went out and put up the same exact stat line from Game 6 of the 97 finals in Game 6 of the 98 finals, as the Bulls went back-to-back. Michael Jordan retired the year LeBron was drafted. Just like MJ in the finals, Father Time is undefeated. No matter how great a player is, as they get older, their skills gradually deteriorate, eventually forcing them to step away from the game they love and once dominated. This became evident watching Jordan in a Washington Wizards uniform. There's a reason they didn't include that part in the Last Dance documentary. It was finally time for MJ to pass the reins to someone else. Insert LeBron James. As a junior in high school, LeBron shared the court with a then nearly 40-year-old Michael in a pickup game at one of Jordan's basketball camps. Maybe seeing the King, as the media like to call him, in action, let Jordan know that the league would be in good hands with James after he retired. MJ ended up retiring in 2003, which was the same year LeBron was drafted first overall by the Cavs. Jordan entered the league in 1984, which was also the same year James was born. Call it a coincidence, but fate works in mysterious ways when you consider the entry and exit points involving the 2 greatest basketball players of all time. Were you aware of these coincidences? If not, let us know which spooked or shocked you the most in the comment section below. Feel free to let us know if you think we missed any as well.